Hello everyone, welcome to APTI Plus Academy for Civil Services. Today we have a very interesting session on economy current affairs covering all the important topics from December to the present. So let's get started. So our first topic is Swavalambini program. Okay. So recently the Ministry of State, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship filed a written reply in the Lok Sabha regarding the progress of the Swavalambini program. So from exam point of view, we just need to know that a Swavalambini program is a women entrepreneurship program for young women in higher educational institutions, okay, HEIs. And it was launched by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, obviously, and it is implemented by IESBUD, which stands for National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development. Okay. Then there is IIE, which is Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, Guwahati, along with Niti Aayog. Very important from exam point of view that the nodal ministry, that it is launched by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and implemented by NIESBUD as mentioned earlier, IIE, Guwahati and Niti Aayog. Okay. What is the aim? Basically it aims to establish over 30 women-led enterprises, okay, particularly targeting regions like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Uttar Pradesh and Telangana right now in the initial phase. Later on it will expand to other states as well. Alright. So the aim is to build enterprises that would be led by women itself, okay, entrepreneurship among women. So right now the target group is around 1200 female students from the various higher educational institutions and universities in India, okay, and especially the 5 states that were mentioned earlier. Then all these 1200 students would attend an introductory program to build basic awareness about entrepreneurship. Okay, and out of these 1200 students, 600 students, they'll receive advanced training that will cover skills, then finance, market linkages, compliance and networking. Alright, and finally this is followed by a 21 weeks of mentorship and hand holding. This will basically help them to turn their ideas into sustainable business models. Okay, and Niti Aayog will definitely provide mentoring. It will help with the seed funding, and then it will recognize the successful entrepreneurs through a system of award. Okay, award to reward initiative, ATR, award to reward initiative. Okay, so initially 30 plus new enterprises will be formed that will be women-led businesses in India. Okay, implementation we have discussed, and yes, Niti Aayog will provide 21 weeks of mentorship. This also we have discussed. So this was all about Swavalambini program. The next topic is India's orange economy. So this particular term, orange economy, it found its presence in the Union Finance budget speech this time because the finance minister announced plans to boost the country's orange economy. So all you need to know about orange economy is its definition. Basically it refers to the creative economy. Okay, and it is the knowledge based economic activities upon which the creative industries are based basically. Okay, so here a production model is followed where goods and services have intellectual value because they are the product of the ideas and expertise of their creators. Now if you talk about a proper definition, then the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, this particular body defines the orange economy as an evolving concept which builds on the interplay between human creativity and ideas and intellectual property, knowledge and technology. So we all know the kind of content that is being like produced across the various social media platforms and the other applications, and this is what is about the orange economy. Okay, and it basically includes a number of creative industry categories. For instance, it's advertising, architecture, arts and crafts, design, fashion, film, video, photography. So all these are the various creative industries that fall under the orange economy. Then there's music, performing arts, publishing, research and development, software, computer games, electronic publishing, and TV radio. So it's basically an umbrella term if we talk about the orange economy, and all these sectors, they fall, these creative industries, they fall under the orange economy. So in this, people conceptualize and they arrange the work, they produce or publish it, and then after that they get paid for it. Okay, and it is not different from other production processes, except of the fact that the major inputs, it basically stems from the original copyrightable IP, you can see. Okay, or intellectual property. So for instance, if somebody is producing a kind of a music or a rap and then publishing it in social media and then like getting paid for it, so of course it falls under the orange economy. Just to give you an example. Okay, now if we talk about the statistics, then the UNESCO, it says that the orange economy, it accounts for 3%, a whopping 3% of the global gross domestic product, or GDP. Okay, 3% of global GDP, and of course it generates around 30 million jobs worldwide. Now if you particularly talk about India's orange economy, then definitely India's animation, visual effects, gaming and comics sector, which is also referred to as AVGC sector. Okay, it is a growing industry and it is projected to require around 2 million professionals by 2030. Okay, now the economic survey 2025-2026, where the orange economy was mentioned as well, it also stated that revenue from gaming industry particularly in 2024 was around 232 billion rupees, and if you talk about the animation and the VFX industry, it was around 103 billion rupees. So of course the industry is flourishing like anything. Then there's live entertainment industry, which is also flourishing, 100 billion rupees, okay, in 2024. And if you talk about the budget 2026-2027, then the government proposed to support the various industries that are associated with the creative industry sector. For instance, the Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, IICT, this is in Mumbai. Okay, because it had set up a AVGC content creator labs, okay, in around 15,000 schools, secondary schools across the country. Okay, and also in 500 colleges. So this was the contribution of this particular institutions, Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, Mumbai, and for that this thing the government proposed to support the particular industry as well as the institution. Okay, so of course the government has given a huge support to this particular industry, orange economy, which is flourishing like anything across the world. So the next topic is coking coal, because the government of India has officially classified coking coal as a critical and strategic mineral under the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act of 1957, that is MMDR Act. Okay. Now, this particular notification is based on the recommendation of a high-level committee on the implementation of Viksit Bharat goals. Okay. And the policy inputs have been provided by Niti Aayog. Now, India possesses about 37.37 billion tons of coking coal. Okay, and it's a major resource, of course, and the deposits are mainly concentrated in Jharkhand, and some of the deposits are also in places like Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, and Chhattisgarh. Now we have huge like domestic reserves, but despite of this fact, India's dependence on imports has risen. Okay, earlier it was like 51.21 million tons in 2020 21, and now it has increased to 57.58 million tons in 2024-25. So at present, nearly 95% of 95% of the steel sector's coking coal demand is basically met through what? Imports. So despite reserves, we are importing the coking coal. So, and that is why the government is striving to promote this particular sector, and it has also like recognized it as a critical and strategic mineral. So of course now like extraction of coking coal and then processing of it would be focused by the government of India. Now here, if we talk about coking coal particularly, what is it? The definition of coking coal. Coking coal is primarily, it is used to manufacture coke, which is again an an input of steel industry. Okay, and if we talk about the non-coking coal, it is mainly like utilized in the thermal power plants. Okay, and it is used for like steam and electricity generation. Now if we talk about the coking coal, it is hard. Okay, it is porous, and it consists of 90% of carbon. Okay, now remaining portion of it is that rest of the like 5%, it is made up of what? Ash. Okay, which is of course non-combustible matter. Then there are like certain volatile substances as well, and there are certain impurities like sulfur and phosphorus. So in short, we can say that coking coal, which is also referred to as metallurgical coal, is a grade of coal that can be used to produce good quality coke. And this particular coke is an essential fuel and reactant that is used in the process of like steel making. Okay. Moving to the next topic, the ACC-PLI scheme, which stands for the Advanced Chemistry Cell Production Linked Incentive Scheme. Okay, so this particular scheme has attracted attention from a report by Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, and then like other organizations also. They have pointed out delays and slow commissioning and like several difficulties in the implementation of this particular scheme. Now, what is this particular scheme, ACC-PLI scheme? It is basically a central sector scheme, which means the entire funding is done by the center, and like the state government, they do not have to pay anything for this particular scheme. Okay, and it aims to promote domestic manufacturing of advanced battery cells in India. Very important. Okay, battery cells that are very advanced in nature. Advanced battery cells in India, and this particular scheme was launched by Ministry of Heavy Industries. Very important, because UPSC tends to ask questions on ministries. By the Ministry of Heavy Industries, and it was launched in the year 2021. So these are the important things that you need to like remember for prelims, and the aim and objective of this particular scheme is to reduce dependency, import dependency for battery, okay, on other countries, and build a local supply chain of batteries. Okay, mobilize the private investment and support electric vehicle and energy storage adoption. Now the scheme mandates that at least like whatever we are like producing within India, it must have like 25% like domestic value addition within 2 years, and 60% within 5 years. And this particular scheme would be monitored by empowerment group of secretaries, and this particular group of secretaries would be chaired by the cabinet. Okay, and it targets to produce 50 gigawatt 50 gigawatt hour of manufacturing capacity of like advanced battery cells, and an additional 5 gigawatt hour of like niche technologies, like very specific battery technologies within India. Okay, for this, of course, subsidy, annual cash subsidy would be given, but there's a capping, because for every manufacturer, like they'll be given subsidies for producing up to like 20 gigawatt till 20 gigawatt. For 20 gigawatt hour, like subsidies will be provided. Okay, and the maximum for this would be 2000. Okay, so per beneficiary 20 gigawatt per hour with a maximum of 2000 per kilowatt hour. These are very important from prelims point of view, because these are the major provisions of the scheme. Okay, ACC scheme. And incentives are not provided to like conventional battery pack manufacturing that are already present in India. Normal battery would not like suffice, but if like advanced kind of any like batteries are like being produced, then only the incentives would be provided. Okay, for instance, like if they are producing the EV batteries, for that incentives will be provided, but normal like cells, normal batteries, for that incentives would not be provided. The next topic is world's largest rice producer. So India has become the world's largest producer of rice, surpassing China with the production of around 150.18 million tons. Very important figure. Okay, 150.18 million tons compared to China's 145.28 million tons. So if we talk about the status of rice production and export, so the major rice producing countries in the world are what? India, China, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Japan, Sri Lanka and Egypt, with India now occupying the top position, of course. Now, if we talk about the state-wise production in India, then UP, of course, it occupies the top position, okay, 13.8%. This is, we are talking about the 2024-2025 figures, okay. Then Telangana, 11.6%, okay, West Bengal, 10.6%, Punjab, 9.5%, Chhattisgarh, 7%. And it's important to note that India is also the world's largest rice exporter, because India exported around 20.1 million metric tons of rice in 2024-2025, strengthening its role in global food supply chains. Now, Indian rice is primarily exported to which countries? Saudi Arabia, okay, then Iran, Iraq, Benin, United Arab Emirates, etc. So these are the major export destinations, and this reflects a strong demand in West Asia and Africa. Now, if we particularly talk about the rice crop, we all know that it is a kharif crop, and like it requires like hot and humid climate. It also needs good amount of rainfall, and like it grows in silt, loam and gravels, okay, and deep clayey loamy soils are best for the cultivation of rice. And it's a semi-aquatic crop, and there are like different types of like rice crop. For instance, winter rice, aman, okay, then os is the autumn rice, it grows between May, June to September, October, and finally boro, the summer rice, it like grows in November and May, okay, and aman, winter rice, of course, July to November, December. So this is all about rice. Next, National Test House was in news. Actually, the National Test House has entered into an agreement, an MOU with the Defense Materials and Stores Research and Development Establishment. Basically, it is trying to strengthen its cooperation in the areas of research, testing, and training. Now, here, all we need to know is about NTH. Okay, that is the National Test House. It is India's largest multi-location, multi-disciplinary industrial testing laboratory. Basically, it deals with all sorts of like testing, calibration, and quality evaluation. Okay, and this is related to what? Industry, commerce, trade, as per international and national standards. Now, what is the nodal ministry? It is the Department of Consumer Affairs. Okay, Department of Consumer Affairs is the nodal ministry of the National Test House, and this department is within the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Okay, this was established in the year 1912. Okay, and this was under the Railway Board. Very important to remember, the National Test House. This was established in 1912 under the Railway Board. Now, it basically issues test certificates for samples, and this adheres to national and international standards as well as specific consumer standards and specifications. This basically ensures that all the products, they have the highest quality and the reliability. Okay, now at present the National Test House has provided like facilities with testing, then it evaluates, it calibrates all the different like raw materials as well as finished products, finished industrial products as well as the raw materials. Okay, now it has a lot of like branches. For instance, it's in Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, then Ghaziabad, Guwahati, etc. Here we need to remember that it also has a portal. It is a fully digital based portal, and it provides services for like online submission of various like test requests. For instance, if you have got something tested from the NTH, then of course you can get it. If you drop a test request, you can request for a sample and issuance of test certificates of any product, any industrial product that you want to get tested. Okay, it also enables customers to track the progress of their requests that they have dropped without the need to contact the laboratory directly. Okay, so this was all about the NTH. Aspire scheme was in news because the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, that is the MSME, okay, ministry, this is implementing the Aspire scheme. Now the Aspire scheme, Aspire, it stands for a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industry and entrepreneurship. Okay, a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industry and entrepreneurship. Okay, this is what it stands for, and it is trying to promote entrepreneurship and livelihood opportunities in rural Indias. Now, if you particularly talk about the Aspire scheme, it's it was implemented by the MSME as discussed earlier, and it is to promote entrepreneurship and lively opportunities in rural areas, and it basically focuses on creating enabling ecosystems for what? For innovation, skill development and enterprise creation. So it is trying to encourage entrepreneurship, and for this it is trying to support the innovation and rural industrial development. So this scheme basically seeks to generate employment opportunities, okay, by promoting self-employment and wage employment through micro enterprises. Now, what is the intention of the scheme? The intention of the scheme is to strengthen rural livelihoods by providing incubation, okay, whenever they are starting with something, and then hand-holding support, to inspire the entrepreneurs and motivate the aspiring entrepreneurs as well. Okay, so it basically complements the other MSME initiatives that are already in place. For instance, the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, etc., which supports the self-employment programs and other credit-linked subsidy-related programs in India. So the scheme supports establishment of the livelihood business incubators so that people can focus on livelihood generation. Okay, so sure, what will happen, people who want to go ahead with a small business or something, they will be provided with training, they will be provided with mentoring, business supports, and other kind of services will be provided to them. Okay. Now, recently, like the Companies Amendment Rules 2025, specification of definition details. Okay. Companies specification of definition details amendment rules 2025. This was passed. These rules were passed. Now, according to this rule, what will happen? Basically, the central government has issued these particular rules by amending the companies rules of 2014. So, to companies rules of 2014 has been amended, and now these are the 2025 rules. Now, the amendment basically aims to bring more companies under the small company definition, okay, and provide them with all the benefits like the simplified compliance and reduced burdens. Now, it is issued by whom? It is issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, and it will come into play, it already came into effect from December 2025 itself. Now, what are the basic changes? Okay, so the paid up capital limit for classifying a company as a small company, it has been increased. Earlier it was 4 crores, now it is 10 crores. Okay, so this has been increased, the paid up capital. Now, what is paid up capital? Important to note. Okay, so paid up capital is the actual amount of money that a company has received from shareholders in exchange for the shares of stock of that particular company. So it is basically the the cash that a business holds from its owners so that it can operate without creating any debt. Okay, it is a kind of the authorized capital that the investors have fully paid for. Also, please note that the turnover limit for treating a company as a small company has also been increased. Okay, earlier it was 40 CR and now it has been increased to 100 CR. So, a small company would be recognized, any company would be recognized as a small company. Okay, so and the turnover earlier was like 40 CR, but even if it is a company which has a turnover of 100 CR, it will be considered as a small company from now onwards. Okay, and it's important to note that the Companies Act 2013, this particular act, it introduced the concept of a small company. Okay, so that the small businesses can comply and they can get the benefits. And now this particular act is being amended, and the different features have been also upgraded. Okay, and finally the 2025 amendments, we can say it continues the efforts to revise the limits and support the ease of doing business. Okay, the next topic that you need to know about is Gandhar oil field. Okay, because recently ONGC it plans, it said that it plans to store the captured carbon dioxide in depleted wells at Gujarat's Gandhar oil field. Okay, so it's important to know where is it. It is in Gujarat. It is a major oil and gas field located in Jambusar Bharuch block of the Cambay Basin. Okay, Bharuch block, and this particular field is situated on the western bank of the Bharuch depression, and it is between the Dadhar river and Narmada. Dadhar is in the north and Narmada is in the south. Okay, and this particular oil field, this was discovered in 1983. Okay, size is around 800 square kilometers. It is of course India's one of the largest onshore brownfields, where it is not started from the scratch, but already a lot of we can say infrastructure was there already, and now it is being like upgraded. So a very good project by the ONGC, where it is trying to store the carbon dioxide over here. It is of course its first initiative to store like carbon. Okay, so it's a carbon capture and storage project, you can say. Basically, it will involve capturing the carbon dioxide from the nearby industries in the Dahej and the Hazira plant, and then it will be transported to Gandhar and injected underground. Okay, so around 100 tons of carbon dioxide will be stored every day. So basically, the project aims to just test using carbon dioxide to whether it can like store carbon dioxide like that and enhance the oil recovery also at the same time. Okay, so what happens is when you store carbon dioxide like that, you turn a potential harmful GHG, that is the greenhouse gas, into a productive resource. Okay, because when you're storing the carbon dioxide like that 100 tons every day, so what happens, the extraction or the extraction of the oil becomes easier from that particular field, because you're injecting, and in that place the space that is occupied by CO2 and the oil is coming to the surface. Okay, so that is the mechanism, and so it is a what, win-win situation. Okay, you're combating GHG, the greenhouse gases as well. At the same time, you're also helping in the recovery of the oil. So this was all about this particular project. Now, very important, Bureau of Port Security, because the Home Minister chaired a meeting recently, and because the ministry, it wants to create a statutory Bureau of Port Security to strengthen the port and vessel security of India. Okay, statutory means, of course, a law will be like passed in the parliament for this particular body. Now, if we talk about the Bureau of Port Security particularly, so it is a dedicated body proposed to strengthen security oversight of ports, ships, and vessel security. Okay, as well as maritime infrastructure. Now, the BPS, or the Bureau of Port Security, of course, as mentioned earlier, it will be constituted as a statutory body under Section 13 of the Merchant Shipping Act of 2025. This was promulgated recently. Merchant Shipping Act of 2025. This was recently promulgated, and the PBS, that is the BPS, that is the Bureau of Port Security. Okay, this will function under the aegis of Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, and this particular bureau shall carry all the regulatory and oversight functions that are related to the security of ships and port facilities across India. It will also have a legal authority, so it can enforce the compliance with the International Shipping and Port Facility Security Code. Okay, ISPS code. So it has got a lot of power to enforce the rules also, the compliance also. And the Bureau shall ensure timely analysis, collection and exchange of security related information as well, with a special focus on cyber security. It will also have a dedicated division to protect port IT infrastructure from digital and cyber threats. Now, if we talk about the structure, okay, so the Director General of Shipping, DGS, it will hold the additional charge as well as the DG of BOPS for the initial first year transition period. Then the bureau will subsequently be led by an IPS officer. Okay, and the CISF, or the Central Industrial Security Force, very important to note that the CISF, or the Central Industrial Security Force, has been officially designated as a recognized security organization for this particular BOPS. So basically this empowers CISF to conduct mandatory security assessments, then perform the various kinds of audits, then prepare the security plans for all the port facilities in India, including the private terminals also. Very important to note that it will have the power to take care of the private terminals as well. Okay, now the security protocols will be customized. It will be based on a port's location, trade volume and vulnerability. So there will be no one size fits all approach at all. Okay. Please remember that its regulations and CISF like security audits, these are all mandatory for all the ports operating in India, and including the private entities like the Mundra port or the Krishnapatnam port. So this was all about the BPS, and we have covered the most important, the hot topics that were in news in this particular time period. Hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much.